agricultural area and support rural development. However, the business performance of seafood enterprise is not stable because many challenges such as global competition, climate change, and the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. This Gen export revenue grew in the past 3 years, so with instability. In 2021, export revenue were $8.89 billion USD, up 5.7% from the year before. In 2022, export revenue went up strongly to $11 billion USD, a rise of 33.8%. But in 2023, export revenue fell to $9.2 billion USD, a drop of 19%. This change showed that seafood companies need to better understand the factors that affect business their performance so they can improve their competitiveness and grow in a sustainable way. The EBFTA has created new opportunities by reducing tariffs and raising standards, prompting enterprises to upgrade their operation. This study aims at setting both financial and non-financial factors to support sustainable growth of seafood enterprise in Vietnam. This session is research objective, which is divided to main part, overall objective and specific objective. The first I will talk about overall objective is identify key drivers of performance, evaluate their impact, and propose solution to improve efficiency, boost competitive, and support sustainable in the dynamic market. The following part outline the specific objective. Objective 1. Analyze the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam through financial indicators such as return on assets, return on equity, and return on sales. Objective 2. Identify factor business performance and measure the level of this effect. Objective 3. Proposing practical solutions to enhance the business performance of seafood enterprise in the context of intensive competition and market fluctuation. This session in research question will be presented by Moon.
Whereas the specific objective, the next present is question. And question 1 was the current performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam. Question 2, what factors affect the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? And question 3, how are the influencing factors related to the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? And question 4 was should enterprise take to improve their business performance in highly competitive seafood industry? And about the research work, the study focused on the analysis factor affecting to business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam, specifically to list on the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange and our stock exchange, the U.S. public company markets. And the research period in 2018 to 2024 to currency and the comprehensive vision of economic development during the framework campaign. This is the tariff structure. The next is chapter 2 metro review. I would like to invite the
And now we present the two literature reviews, starting with key concept and definition. Business performance of enterprises. Business performance reflects the ability to use resources to achieve goals and improve profitability. Although business performance can be viewed from financial, operational, and organizational perspective, but financial indicator being most common use because it's like measurability and comparability. Business performance can be measured by both the financial and non-financial indicator, but financial indicator usually give an objective result in comparison between companies. And the indicator like return on assets, return on equity, and return on sales usually show the profitability, operating efficiency, and cost control, especially in the seafood industry where the input costs change often and the profit margin overload. So it's play an important role in helping companies to manage their ability to adapt to market conditions. And this is the three indicators that we use in this study. And the next part is about the situation of Vietnamese enterprises in recent years. From 2020 to 2022, many Vietnamese businesses has a very hard time because of COVID-19, high inflation, 2022, we have 143.2 thousand companies had to stop working. It's increased about 38.8% than 2021, and this shows that many Vietnamese enterprises need more support to develop stronger, and they still facing major problems like limited access to capital or weak technology applications. And about the characteristics of Vietnamese seafood industry, I would like to invite Wang to present.
So the next part, characteristics of the seafood industry. Let's begin with figure 2.1 structure of capture and our culture is works in Vietnam from 2004 to 2023. From 2004 to 2023, Vietnam seafood seems strongly demand and capture our culture. Our culture will be 1.22 to 5.5 million tons, nearly 60% of output, and the wild capture will modestly. The right by high is the capture result and very strong and advantage intensive farming high-tech farming for people market. And about the figure 2.2 Vietnam seafood import value and ratio 2004 to 2023. Vietnam seafood import about USD 2.4 billion in 2024 or in 2004 and about 10.9 billion in 2022 and the vessel measure in 2008 to 2009, 2015 to 2014. In 2023, due to rise currency volatility and weak demand. In 2024, Vietnam seafood import about USD 10 billion and showing recover that continue rely on the traditional market. The lastly figure 2.3 Vietnam seafood import market structure in 2024. Among the top market, China and Hong Kong, United States, and Japan to remain the largest importer Vietnam seafood in 2024, and two significant contributing to total import value. And group other country also another important for market of Vietnam seafood. So the lastly is the figure to work for Vietnam seafood import production structure in 2024. In 2024, Vietnam import was by the shrimp at 39%, driven by high demand in the EU, US, and Japan. Followed by Paris at 20% in high-tech farming and advanced crop. And other seafood production at 22%, related to tower diversification. And the next review of part study, I would like to invite this.
And now I will present the review of previous study. Many previous studies consider how financial factor and macroeconomic factor can affect some business performance. Firstly, for Law 2020, they studied 20 list seafood company lists on 2016 to 2020. They found that capital structure have a negative effect on return on asset and return on equity, while firm size, short-term liquidity have a positive effect. And the second one, in 2025, they also show that the size and revenue growth can have increased business performance, and they also highlight that the liquidity play an important role in helping companies to maintain their services and take investment opportunity. And for macroeconomic factor, that add on 2024, they found that changing population, high inflation in the import country can affect Vietnam seafood export for the long term, and the political problem can decrease the export performance of seafood enterprises. And last one, that went through 2022, they also confirmed that the size and the development of the import country addition, they also say that the free trade agreement like EVFTA or CPTPP can affect on business performance. About the recent gap of this study, firstly, elimination in measurement indicator. Many reasons study usually use return on assets and return on equity to measure business performance, but return on sales is another very important indicator for business, especially in the seafood industry where the input costs change often and the profit margin usually low. So it's play an important role in helping the company to manage their ability, but it hasn't been studied much. And the second about lack of indirect model between financial factor and macroeconomic factor. Mostly existing analysis, they just analyze the financial factor and macroeconomic factor separately, and it leading to one-side views, and it doesn't fully show the complex effect on business performance. And last one is data limitations. Many readers still use the data before 2020. It helped include new situations like EVFTA from 2018 to 2024. And about the framework and hypothesis of this study, I would like to invite you to present.
I will continue to talk about theoretical framework and hypothesis about factors affecting business performance. On the variable, except for leverage and inflation, are expected to have positive impact on business performance. Now let's start with the first variable, which is the AFM. Long-established companies often have more experience and better financial control, which can improve profitability. This is the formula for calculating the AFM. Moving on the second variable, enterprise size. Large company benefits from size in market share, cost control, and resources, leading to higher profit and more efficiency. The third variable is liquidity. Companies with good liquidity ensure stable cash flow and reduce the risk of insolvency. Next is leverage. This is the first variable expected to have a negative impact. Well-managed leverage can reduce taxes. However, in difficult business conditions, high leverage can increase interest expense and the risk of insolvency. This is the formula for calculating the financial leverage. And capital structure will be the fifth variable. Using short-term and long-term debt value can reduce capital costs and improve how the company uses assets. This should include three indicators. Following that is fixed asset structure. It shows the level of long-term investment. Fixed assets have been securing loan, improve productivity, and increase business value. This is the formula for calculating fixed asset structure. We also consider revenue growth. It shows the ability to attract investment, expand market, use resource efficiency, and benefit from trade agreement. On the macro side, we have gross domestic product. CDP shows the development of the economy and business environment. When CDP grows steadily, companies can expand production, accelerate more easily, and benefit from consumer confidence. Another macro variable is inflation rate. This is the second variable expected to have a negative impact. Inflation makes prices rise and money loses value. When inflation rises, input costs and raw material, wages, and interest rate create pressure, especially for the company with low margin and import independence. The last variable is European Union Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. EVFTA offers export opportunity through lower tariff. However, non-tariff carrier to trade stability through anti-IDD yellow cards still more challenging. The research model shows the link between internal financial factor, macroeconomic variable, and business performance, forming the basis for measure, data, and testing in the next session. I would like to invite Woken to continue with the research design.
So the final next, I would like to present the research design. From the May to August 2024, the research to carry out a step. Step one, define the research program. objective and research question. So that to review the three develop the research conceptual model and framework. Step 4, identify the research methodologies and type of data used. Step 5, data collection. Step 6, data analysis. And step 7, main finding and discussion and generate insight and conclusion. And the final step, 8, research recommendation and application. To the next chapter 3, methodology and data, I would like to invite Henry.
And now I present chapter 3 methodology and data. Overview about research methodology. Panel data that applies in this study is compiled time series and cross-sectional data. And we consider 3 types of panel data model, including the pool OFS, fixed effect model, and random effect model. Firstly, we choosing between pool OFS and fixed effect model OFS. It's checking if they are significant across different units. If people do less than 5%, we selecting the fixed effect model, and other way we continue to select between the pool OFS and random effects model by error test, and it's checking if there are variation in the error term across different units. And if the p-values of error test less than 5%, selecting the random effects model, and other way the OFS were retained. And finally, we're choosing between fixed effect model and random effects model by the Hostman test. If the Hostman test p-value less than 5%, selecting fixed effect model, and other way we can conclude that the random effects model is more appropriate. And feasible generate list where we apply if the model has any diagnostic. And I will show you detail about a following part. It's in part about some regression diagnostic for panel data model. It's including multicollinearity, heteropanicity, and autocorrelation. Firstly, about multicollinearity. Multicollinearity can be checked by variant inflation factor test, and if the VAF greater than 10, it has a multicollinearity. And in this case, we can remove the variable, change them, or change the data. And the second one is heteropanicity. It can be checked by the multiplied word test for the band and the LM test for the pool OS and brand. And if the p-value of the test less than 5%, it has a heteropanicity, and you can fix it by using FTLS and Brower standard error. And last one is autocorrelation. Autocorrelation can be checked by the word test for the fixed effect model and random effects model. And if the p-values of these tests less than 5%, it has a first order autocorrelation. And you can also use the FTLS and Brower standard error to fix it. And about the data used for this study, the data used in this study from 31 seafood enterprises listed on Hanoi Stock Exchange, Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange, and unlisted company market from 2018 to 2024 with 217 observations. And the data often from the audited financial statement, and after cleaning the data, only a company with full information were retained. And the analysis for that is data version 17 is using multiple linear regression to analyze the relationship between variables. And this is a sample of audited financial statement that we use in this study. And this is 3 regression equation in detail for 3 dependent variables that we use in this method. And move on to chapter 4, I would like to present about the main part.
Now let's move on to the 4, which focuses on technique of studies. First, I would like to talk about descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics provide an essential overview of the dataset and get iterated results. Talk about descriptive statistics of independent variation in the research model. Descriptive statistics table showing different small simple iterate instance size century and risk level. A small analysis variable some factors show very high volatility, especially revenue growth and financial leverage. Static sweet leverage revenue, the average is 7.14%, with volatility is extremely high, minus 96.86% to 700.14%. This shows that business performance is very unstable due to many changes, logistic cost, and local trade. And about financial literacy, the average is from 1 to but with very large variation from 0.03 to 132.45. This means Israel have very different debt strategy. Some borrow a lot to grow fast, revision show.
And now I will present the analysis of factor affecting business performance. Firstly, we need to select the appropriate model. And this is the result of our selecting appropriate model. And we decided to pull our extreme forward scenario for return on asset and return on equity. And we're using fixed effect model with robust scenario to return on sales. And move on to the regression result for three indicators: return on asset, return on equity, and return on sale. And it reflects the factor affecting business performance of seafood enterprises. And let's focus on the return on asset. First, it's about financial leverage. It has a negative effect on return on assets with coefficient about minus 0.07 and high statistical significance with p-value equal 0. And this means that high debt can reduce the business performance of seafood enterprises, especially for the Vietnam seafood industry with high interest and cost control and market rate and its market abundant. And it supports the hypothesis number 4 and showing the needs of debt management carefully. And in contrast, look at the GDP growth. It has a significant and positive effects on return on assets. And it supports the hypothesis number 8. It shows that the stable economy can affect on business performance of seafood enterprises by increasing the demand, improving the access to capital, or creating a better business conditions. And in terms of internal factor about company size, the size have a positive effect on return on assets with coefficient about 0.035 and p-value at 0.014, and this supported the hypothesis number 2. And it showed that the larger seafood enterprises tend to perform better in financial, maybe because they can benefit from the economy of scale. And last one is about revenue growth. However, it has a negative effect on return on assets. And it rejects the hypothesis number 7, and it says that the same growth without cost control or efficient in excess yield is can leading to lower in profitability for seafood enterprises. And about the regression result for return on equity, I would like to invite Liu to present.
I would like to advise detail about factor affecting return on equity. The regression for CSU, short-term debt to equity is a negative and highly significant effect at the 1% level, not supporting hypothesis 5. Short-term debt return of financial literacy. Its negatively affect return on sale coefficient equal -0.02, which may be less than 1%, indicating that high debt in new profits will interest burden and financial risk, supporting hypothesis 4. And risk rebate for fixed effect is negatively affect return on sale coefficient equal -0.787, which may be less than 5%. Efficient investment can thus grow because of depreciation and maintenance costs, confirming hypothesis 6. And about revenue growth is negatively affect return on sale coefficient equals -0.005, which will be less than 5%, meaning sales grow without cost control, which harm profitability, rejecting hypothesis 7. And the last one about GDP growth is positively affect return on sale with coefficient equals 0.0303, which will be less than 10%, improving demand and export performance, supporting hypothesis 8. In conclusion, regression show that business performance of seafood industry in Vietnam is affected mainly internal and economic factors. This impact is different for each indicator: return on asset, return on equity, and return on sale. They are important for making recommendations in chapter 5 to help improve business performance in today's changing and challenging environment. So next part of chapter 5 is 5 and to resent.
The point of us there is chapter 5, conclusion and recommendation. About the conclusion, I will present the key finding to research so that the financial level has a significant positive, negative to reflect to return on asset, return on sale, and return on equity. Indicator that high debt with real efficiency in the low margin and high risk industry, and the revenue also negatively impact to return on asset and return on sale, suggesting that sale will without the cost improve profit stability, and in contract website and GDP growth help us impact the leverage cost advantage and the stable macroeconomic environment. Variables such as liquidity, fixed asset structure, and capital structure 1 to capital structure 3 have a limited impact. And EBITDA has yet to show significant short-term due to compliance challenge and COVID-19 impact, and to its hold long-term potential. The next recommendation I would like to present.
Span the research result after a year recommendation with a low 3-man part. Recommend for seafood, enterprise, recommend for government authority, recommend for stakeholder international. Now I will talk about recommend for seafood enterprise. The first, efficiency assets and capital investment. Enterprise should prioritize improve the efficiency of existing assets before the spending scale in order to the scale investment their funds. And the third is the FTA support. The effective leverage in the FTA is necessary to enrich technical and training, technical support, training and